The Wellness Show, Episode 62.
Welcome to The Wellness Show, a podcast on health and wealth. I'm your host, Tyson Bannigan, the founder of the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy. Join me as we get the latest insight, tips, and strategies from wellness providers, coaches, and successful, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and much, much more. So welcome to the Wellness Show, and today I'm excited to talk about the global reports. So what's up spiritually on planet Earth? So this is the latest and the greatest as David Adelson and I, Tyson Bannigan, have a chat about what's going on in the world. So David, from your perspective, what is going on in the world?
Well, Tyson, I'm glad you asked. Actually, a lot more good than people are aware of. And especially right now, we're in a very little window where it's as if the escalator has suddenly kicked into a different gear and everybody's being jarred a little bit, but it'll smooth out in about 6 to 8 weeks, if not sooner. So we've known for a long time that July and August were going to be a little bit rough, and then it should smooth out after that to something much nicer. It's like the plane taking off is hitting a little turbulence, but then once it gets above the clouds, it's going to be very smooth and wonderful. We've got some really great things going on. The truth is, we're a lot farther along than people know, and they don't know it because we don't go around reporting to our friends that we don't have a headache. We don't go around reporting that, things are working out today. Those aren't the kinds. I didn't have a fight with my wife. These are not headline news kinds of things.
So we're the bad news bears. We like to be the bad news, but we're going to do the good.
Well, I don't want to get into a thing about media or even on the internet or anything, but the truth is that, people notice when they're uncomfortable. And in the work that I do with people, it comes up all the time. People notice they have a headache. They do something to clear the headache. They usually don't notice when the headache goes away. Usually it's after the fact they notice, I don't have the headache anymore. I did have, we used, when I was teaching meditation full time, we would have people come in after 3 months and they would say, and we'd say, how's it going? They say, well, no, I'm not noticing anything. Now, and we say, really, so how's work? Well, actually, interestingly, everybody at work has gotten nicer. My boss seems to be a lot more pleasant. My family doesn't squabble. The dog loves me more. I've gotten a raise, but I'm not noticing anything from this meditation, So these things that are, we like feeling normal. And as we feel more normal, I hate to say it, but it's as if we don't notice it because we notice when we're uncomfortable. If you sit down on a chair, that's okay, it's okay. If you sit down and attack, you jump right up.
Right.
But you don't sit down, how many times when we sit down, of all the times that we sit down, do we really notice that this chair is really comfortable? It's very, how many times a day is everybody getting up and sitting down and getting up and sitting down? And how many times a day do they actually notice this chair is really comfortable? And like that, pardon?
Oh, I was just going to say, I think that's why I really appreciate the idea of, a notebook or a journal. What am I grateful for today to remind me that, that those times when I'm not sitting on attack, that they're worth rejoicing and honoring that there are wonderful things happening in my life.
Yeah, and I notice you're really good at that. I love the little things that you put. I don't read Facebook that often, but every once in a while I get there and I always notice that. I noticed the loons this morning or this or that or beautiful. I always love those little things that you post. And I think, I honestly think that more people are aware in their individual lives that certain things are okay. But I don't think people recognize that globally things are much better than they realize because, and now I will mention the media, the press doesn't particularly pick it up.
Right.
But here's something to notice which is in all the Olympics growing up that I ever saw, it was always basically 3 or 4 countries dominated with a few other countries here and there that got publicity in the US. But this year it's completely different. You're seeing heroes from this person in Korea won something, this person won one for Mexico, this person won one for Venezuela, this person won their first one for this. And they're coming out with all kinds of things that we don't normally associate. Like there was a sharpshooting one and swimming one and all of these different things. And I have seen more winners from different non-major player in world politics countries recently than I've ever seen before. That tells you something. That tells you that there's a harmonizing influence going on globally, that there's a mutual respect for all of the other people on the planet. That's very significant, because it used to be, at least in the US, and you know more about Canada, but at least in the US, it was always, Japan, Switzerland, Russia, or the Soviet Union, or whatever it was at the time, a couple European countries, and the US dominated. And they dominated all. They were the ones with the big budgets that could afford to train the people. In other countries, even if they showed up, they just didn't, the rare occurrence of somebody who did something valiant maybe in the past couple of years. But this is the first time. I mean, I have not seen so many from so many different places being, going viral. This person from this country did this person from that, so many different countries. And I think that's what we need to be noticing. We need to be noticing that things are getting better personally, things are getting better for those that we care about. And that's just noticing that enough is going to help further us notice more. Now, I'm saying that at a time where we're actually going through some rocky stuff. It doesn't negate what I'm saying. It's the same trend that's been going, but it may be a little bit more difficult because people who have a lot of things working out, it's kind of like, even if you've got a bubble around you, and you're protected, if the buildings are falling down around you, it's hard not to notice that, even though you may be fine. So what's going on is a lot of people may be feeling personal integrity and feeling that they're okay, but it may feel like the circumstances around them are completely falling up. They're going to crap. It's like, I don't understand why I'm not getting the raise at work, or this hasn't gone through, all of these. I'm fine, but what's going on? I don't get these circumstantial things around. And the recommendation that we have is just let it go. No concern, just like the turbulence of the plane, in 5-10 minutes, or in this case, a few weeks, it's going to be over. It's going to be water under the bridge. You don't get in a sword fight with it. Don't bother, because if you are, in a few weeks, you're going to be swinging your sword and there's going to be nobody on the other side.
That's right. So you get out of your head, get out of your worry, stay in your sovereignness, just show up, be authentic, and
notice the good.
And notice the good. Yeah. So, David, you've been really doing some work in that area about helping other people do that. So one of them that I know of is creating what I call a tribe, or a group of like-minded people that come together. I call it the planetary cleanup crew. You might call it global clearings, whatever. But like-minded people that work together consciously to bring about change and transformation. And I know one of your projects is Global Clearing Calls. Want to mention a bit about that?
Sure. There's a group of us, of which you've joined us recently for several of them. Different of us, you miss a week, people miss a week, but there's 2 of us and a group of about 8 to 10 people, and we really want to get it to about 100 people. And once a week at 5 o'clock on Sundays, we do privately this global clearing for the world. We do an intention based on guidance that we've gotten from Divine Mother and from what's going on in the world, what we think we can do, have with maximum impact. The calls are about an hour. We do some other things for those who are on the call afterwards, maybe a different clearing or something afterwards just for the people. But we record the global clearing, and now they're in MP3 form. We actually record them. We power them up quite a bit. It's part of the work that I do. And then we put them on globalclearing.com, and anybody around the world can download it and play it on their iPhone, can play it on their computer, on their laptop, whatever they want. And people have noticed really profound benefits, both personally and in the environment when they play them. We had one woman playing it in her apartment building, and the whole apartment building settled down.
I think that's fantastic. So what do you mean by power up?
We add more divine energies, more source coding, more, different people have different terms for divine mother, divine father, source, unified field, consciousness, whatever that undifferentiated wholeness is that everything that we see has come from. Lord Christ called it the kingdom of heaven within. In Hindu, they call it, that, or he, or unboundedness, or wholeness, or Brahman, or different people call these different things. And we connect to that, and we stir that in a particular flavor, and then we add that very deep source code, unbounded consciousness to the clearing and increase its efficacy. And they're pretty powerful to begin with. But because we're taking them and now making them to MP3s, and because we want to be having a profound effect for anybody who listens to it, and because, quite frankly, we just love doing this stuff. It's really fun for us too. So we just, oh, you want a pie? Great. Do you want icing on it? Should we put whipped cream on it? Can we put chocolate sprinkles? Shavings? What? How big? How much? How nice can we make it? Do you want candles with it? Ice cream with it? Do you want it? And we just. That's just. I was actually told to tone it down a little bit because I was putting too much in, and
too much glitter.
So. It isn't glitter. It's power. It's efficacy.
I can tone it down that way. So is this supported by sound, David, or is it just human intention?
Okay, let's ask that question again in a different way.
Well, are you using, like some of the equipment that I use, I'm surrounded by scalar wave technology and scalar wave generators, which are creating standing waves of energy that supports everything that I do. I'm bathed in this, it's being broadcast 24/7, 365 through everything that I do. On this show, you're getting scalar wave energy that's coming through. I don't talk about this very much, but it's a fact that that's what's being broadcasted as part of my intention of showing up on planet Earth and doing what I'm called to do. So I was wondering whether you have certain technologies that you use to help you be centered and to help you be in your dimension.
I said I'm just like you in so many ways. There is. I'm trying to think if I can move this around in such a way that you can see how many pieces of equipment I have blasting things around me right now, including and not limited to my phone here is blasting the frequencies. The laptop I'm talking to you on is. There is a TV there. There's a TV there. That one's for my son, actually. There's another one right here. There's a stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 DVD players that I've got running programs behind me.
Wow.
And two more over there. And this one thing that is, one of the programs that we were running so many programs that were based on TV technologies that we thought that if somebody bought all of them, they're going to have all these TVs around. So we thought, could we do something else? So we found these very small things. Trying to think if I can show you and have it work. It's basically a little bit bigger than a phone, but it projects, it's a projector. And it projects one of the things on the wall. So I have another one of that going there hooked up to some other speakers over here. We actually designed one because of that I'm not 100% happy with it yet, but close, but fairly close, where we can take 3 of these and project them into a large glass globe and have it work. But I still, at this point, I'm a little happier with the TV version, but I probably will work on that some more, because everybody doesn't have the space to have 4 TVs blasting away all the time to get the different energies that we produce. And just to be clear, one of my TVs is running this protective energy, which includes EVs, and you and I have talked about this. It's the community level, the highest level of the, these days we're calling it the personal secure protection. So this thing goes, and I have clocked it out at 10 blocks. I live in Santa Monica, so it's a pretty dense population. I have noticed it 10 blocks away. When I'm coming in, I can tell that, oh yeah, we're in that field now. So that one's running right here. Yeah. Then there we've got running the one for prosperity, good fortune, health, enlightenment, all of these different internal things that, infinite Aladdin's lamp, that it's just what the name implies, an infinite Aladdin's lamp. What do you want in your life, and you can start moving the energies to fix that one. And I got to say, I like them all, but my current favorite is that one, and I get to look at it all day long. So
why the TV? What's with the TV? Is it the signal? Is it the picture? What is it that comes by using the TV that's so important?
The way that we the way that we created and downloaded these frequencies. So, I think you and I might have talked about this. So this is my job. This is why I came to the planet, was to bring these frequencies that otherwise, regardless of how wonderful the planet got, these frequencies wouldn't have been here. You go out and eat, and you can have dessert, you cannot have dessert. We just brought a really nice dessert, okay? It's with or without what I brought, we're coming into a great time. We're coming into an amazing time where so many good things will be going on and so many negative things will not be happening. It's just going to be all good. So we're coming into that, and the decision was made that we could bring some things that would facilitate the smoothness of the transition, which has been a key component of my life, and my purpose was, it's going to happen anyway, but would you rather drive the car off a cliff and then hope you can get up and walk away, or have a nice bridge? And, so that's been my whole thing, has been this smooth transition. So when we brought the frequencies in, the easiest way to record it was audio video.
Okay.
It was easier than creating. So everything that we've done has been playing and manipulating and working with that. And with our technology, we actually we turn the TV into a broadcast system instead of a receiver, so that I can have something that projects outward. And we do it using subtler than quantum laws of physics that people don't know exist yet. And they will one day, but in the meantime, they don't. So it goes.
I love that, because that's why I listen to the news, is I totally believe that it doesn't flow one way. So when I listen to the news and I transmute, transform, heal, and repair those energies, I'm sending them back out through the tower and broadcasting them worldwide. So
and you can filter out.
I don't have the technology to do that, other than my intention. But yeah, I understand what you're talking about. It makes perfect sense to me. It's not one-way technology. However, you've done some things on the electromagnetic level to reverse that, I'm assuming, so that it is broadcasting, not just receiving simultaneously.
Well, to be honest, we just call it magic, because there's no way that, and again, I mentioned that, we can clock this thing. We had a system several years ago that was in Western Massachusetts that we had set up, and these were made to do really large areas. And the woman who lived there said she could tell, driving down the road 6 miles out from her house, that was doing it. and it was a big 55-inch TV, and there's no way that anybody would look at the equipment and go, oh, yeah, that's what's going on.
Right.
But that's okay. It does, I am very aware of, from the work that I do, of so many invisible things that are going on. So I'm sure, members, some people in the audience may have heard, there's a large group in Fairfield, Iowa, and there are other groups in the world that people, and there was recently a large 2,000 people in Central Park getting together to meditate. There's a group under the auspices of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi of Transcendental Meditation Movement who have these advanced programs called the TM City program, SIDHI program. It's an advanced meditative program, and they've been doing research since the late 70s of people doing this. And when they do these advanced programs, they have increased brainwave synchrony and all kinds of things take place. Really, really amazing things have been clocked in. But they also have documented and have published, I believe it's 38 times, could be more, could be less, 50. There's been a whole bunch of studies where they've gotten groups together, actually starting in Israel in the 70s, where they found that with larger numbers of people in the group, they can affect a wider range and actually have an influence. And the first thing was they learned they could predict war deaths based on how many people were showing up here. And the study was published, and just to put it in perspective, because people say, oh, it's flaky or whatever it is, the study that they used to determine this, the study itself made it into a textbook in England as this is an example of how you put together a good study. So, yeah. So, one of the authors of it was a faculty member of mine years ago, and he was floored, but they were so sure that everybody was that the concept itself, that you can have a group of people over here closing your eyes and it's going to affect crime rate, insurance, ward, all of these things over here, or even the stock market. They were so sure that people were going to go, that's hooey, that they bent over backwards to make it work. Now, the reason I'm mentioning this is a technology that the connecting point between that which is causing the influence and that which is the effect of the influence. Look, I put a pan on my gas stove, I turn on the flame, the pan gets hot. That makes sense. I can see the flame heating it. Okay, but now you're going to tell me that I can put my pan on this, I can turn on my stove and put my pan out in my backyard and it's going to get hot. People are going to go, you're nuts. But again, from the meditation, from that research, from our own use of these technologies, we're very aware. There's a principle, and I'm sorry I'm not giving you much chance to talk, but there's a principle that's from physics, which basically says, if you tickle the absolute, the unbounded, the unified field over here, it laughs over here.
Right.
This whole idea of, if you roll the ball against the side of the hill enough times, statistically, it's going to show up on the other side of the hill one of the times. So with the awareness of all these quantum level and unified field level technologies, to us, using sound waves, scalar waves, which have these incredibly long wavelengths, our things are very, very similar. They just go out way farther than anybody even begins to imagine. And they have an influence, and people have reported it. So we're real happy with them.
Yeah, I can attest to that. I know when we did a mastermind here in the house, I think we had, we went on for days because people didn't want to leave. They called it Hotel California. You can book in, but it's really hard to leave. And we were doing a lot of data clearing and access consciousness where we just were going through lists and clearing. And because it was group clearing, we could move faster than you could at an individual level. We got a phone call from a lady in Sedona saying, I don't know what you guys are doing up there, but I can feel it down there. So the point is, when you do that intense work as a group, you are putting out a force field that other people can experience if they're tuned into that frequency. So that was just a really interesting confirmation which really goes back to the concept of, if you're feeling out of sorts, or you're feeling that this is really a difficult time on the planet, then really finding a tribe of like-minded people is a great way to get the support to keep you on track. That there are people that are doing this sort of work, whether it's the global clearing calls, or whether it's masterminding or meeting in groups, that we're learning how to do this and support each other, so that we can get back on track as soon as we start to lose it by being carried away by our emotional trauma or our programming that we're still in the process of clearing. The poor me story or whatever it is. So
right.
You've also,
I got to tell you, I don't think there's a lot of poor me going on the planet these days.
yeah,
I think it's now. I think it's people are recognizing recognizing the reality of the situation, that somebody's been pulling strings and it's time to break free of the strings. We all need to be, if we want a powerful nation, we have to have a nation of powerful people. You can't have a nation of weak people or stupid people and then be strong. It's not possible. So, and people, I think, the vibrational energies coming from wherever they're coming from people doing group meditations, from the work that you do, from Scalar, from the work that I do, from, Gabriel, from the center of the star galaxy, from wherever it's coming from, it all is coming together. And what's exciting to me more than anything is that all the cooks are now working together in the kitchen. And that's a first. Because for decades, it's been my group's better than your group, you should not. And getting all the people in there saying, oh, I love that spice from India, and I love that music from Spain, and I love this thing from Africa, and I love these different traditions, whether it's the Catholic tradition or the Vedic tradition or the Hindu or the scientific community or UFOs, or it's just so exciting to me to have the harmony between all the different factions, which was, by the way, the intention of the globalclearings.com. The whole purpose of that was, let's get everybody to be working together. And we specifically set out to get as many different types of healing modalities and healers from as many different traditions and sects as possible, to unite them all with the same intention at the same time. So I do want to mention that we have not quite 3 minutes. Anybody, anywhere on the planet can go to globalclearing.com and download. We have, I think it's up to 25 or more different clearings for everything from health to money to love to feeling good about yourself to all kinds of things. Pick out the ones that interest you, put it on a player, loop it if you want. There's a little bit of talking in the beginning and at the end and a couple reminders, but mostly it's silent. So people should just take advantage of these and other technologies. Some of the things that I know you talk about on a regular basis are hugely, hugely powerful.
Yeah, and don't forget to let people know that you just recently developed some security software that's silent, that people can put on their smartphone or iPhone, or put on a CD, play in their car, play in their house, that creates a secure energy field around them. Do you want to just talk about that?
Yeah, we did hit our 2-minute mark. Just I am watching the time for you here. Right. Personal secure protection. It's an MP3. There's an MP3 version which you can put on your cell phone, or you can buy an MP3 player on, for like $10. That 2 inches or something. You can put it on there with an SD card for $3, $4, whatever it is, and then you can just have it play all the time in your pocket. And this one is really good for about 3 feet around you in a crowd to 18 feet around you in a field. And then there's a video version that's a little bit more expensive that'll do 5 feet around you in a crowd to 30 feet around you in a field. And then there's a version you can put in your house for your whole house, or for your neighborhood, or for your whole community. The one we have here is the community one. And the way that it works is brilliant. Somebody actually commented on this. She said, I don't feel protection per se of a shield, She said, what I feel is that it generates harmony and love so that anything else dissipates. And that's where the protection comes from, that it just dissolves any negativity. And people have run these programs they run it on their laptop in the business meeting, in the conference room. And instead of the accountants being against the marketing people, and you suddenly find harmony between them. And these are at davidadelson.com, DAVIDADELSON. Just go to the store page, and these are downloadable. We have a ton of stuff like that can really make a difference in lives. And we feel if you had all the kids in a school having this, or the school having a system, you could eliminate the risk of some of these horrible things that have been happening. And I'd love to see somebody come up and put a bunch of them in some war zone, because it's going to be amazing what it does.
Well, I'm sure we're getting very close to the end of the show here. We're also an affiliate of all the programs that you have on your site, and you can go to www.thewellnessstore.ca. So I'm very excited about being able to promote your products out to the world as well. So don't be fearful of what's happening on the planet. We're in the major change and transformation. Good times are coming. And if you have any doubt, then go to www.theglobalclearing.com. Choose one of those, download it, listen to it, put it on your CD, play it, and clear whatever you have, whether it's fear, doubt, shame, guilt. But more fun is all those sprinkles you were talking about, which is, what are they? They're like joy, happiness, freedom, sovereignty,
love.
Good thing. Love, yeah, love. It's a little bit of
empowerment.
Empowerment.
Yeah.
All those are there as well. So
Laughter.
You can then download what it is that you do want. Get rid of what you don't want. All right.
Exactly.
Great talking to you, and we'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you so much for having me. And as always, I really applaud what you're doing, Tyson. I think you're doing great good for the world, and I'm so happy. Congratulations again on getting this extended audience that you have, and I wish you all success in this program. So
thank you ever so much. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
For quality online wellness products, courses, and services, visit our sponsors, thewellnessstore.ca and the Extraordinary Healing Arts Academy located at thewellnessacademy.ca. To stay in touch, visit us at thewellnessshow.ca. And until next time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise.